we kick off the final race weekend of the Ring of Fire Tour with the inaugural Russian Grand Prix presented by PointClickShipABitch.com here at the Miachkovo Airport just on the outskirts of Moscow, Russia. Kai Arakaki is on the pole and he gets off to a great start over his team owner Hideo Suzuka in car number 998. Arakaki is trying to get as much of a jump as he can at the start of this rather long 50-lapper around this track as we see Rachel Rainsford and a couple other cars running wide. What part of this is going to be a long race do these drivers not understand? As we see Aoi Tanizaka has problems right at the start. That's going to be a terminal failure for car 259 just a couple of corners in. Tanizaka entered this Ring of Fire Tour for a second year in a row with the implied goal of outperforming her driver Jessica Graham yet again. And now we see Hideo Suzuka taking advantage of a little mistake by Arakaki. He wrestles the lead away from car 898. Rick Tyler, the points leader, follows, sending Arakaki back to third place now. Suzuka not showing his employees any mercy today. Here is Yevgeny Kuznetsov in his long-awaited return to the ARLA Elite Series presented by Smash Beer. He's up to 7th place as we've got cars spinning off. Hideo Suzuka's got a problem coming out of turn 2. He brings that car to a crawl, and several drivers are starting to slide all over the place. Suzuka clobbered by Leonid Chernov as several cars go spinning off. I think Suzuka may have dropped some oil on the track, and it's causing a lot of these people to go off in that first chicane. You see Leonid Chernov back going again. Here is Vitaly Tsolikov, the owner of RUS Autosport and promoter of this race, spinning off in the chicane on that long back straightaway. That's going to be the end of the race for Tsolikov, who entered 5 cars into this race, including himself. He rented the Miachkovo Airport for the weekend and is promoting this race out of pocket. So despite Tsolikov not having any driving experience, at least that we know of, the ARLA officials were not exactly in a position to keep him from running this race. As we see Evgeny Kuznetsov hopping the curb, trying to get by Bixby Foot. That move was not going to work in a million years, but that was not going to stop Kuznetsov from trying. Of course, Kuznetsov, with his rally background, is used to running cars off-road, but these cars obviously aren't designed to do that, so he loses some ground to Bixby Foot. Lev Azarov, another one of the RUS Autosport cars, is running in 9th place as of lap number 5. He's in between Mauro Adachi and Israel Bruce. You see Rachel Rainsford has now gone off the road, so that's an opportunity for a position for Azarov. Azarov, of course, has not had the cleanest of seasons. He was recently docked 40 points for getting into an accident under caution at Twin Ring Motegi, the second incident under yellow he's had this year, which explains why his penalty was so high. Radomir Stanichev, the next of the RUS Autosport cars, is currently in 17th place. He has not had a great start to this race. And Leonid Chernov, in the 5th car for RUS Autosport, is up to 11th and trying to hold off Makoto Yamada for that position. Yamada all over the back of the 83 car. Yamada has surprisingly gotten on the podium a few times this season, including a 3rd place at the Hokkaido Speed Park. So he's obviously looking to improve on that, but he's got to get by Leonid Chernov first. Looking at the battle for position between Rachel Rainsford and Israel Bruce, they get together and go into that tire barrier. Bruce was crowding Rainsford a little bit in the moments leading up to that, but if that was payback on the part of Rainsford, then that was a bit disproportionate, if I do say so myself, as we see Jack Dempsey hitting the curb, getting off the ground and running off the road. That curb in turn 5 has been tripping people up all weekend, and we'll have to see if that's affected Jack Dempsey's car in any way. He's certainly losing ground to Makoto Yamada. Yevgeny Kuznetsov is up to 3rd place now. He just took the position from Bixby Foot, who's got some problems with that 14 car. Kuznetsov, in his return to ARLA, is now setting his sights on Kai Arakaki. He runs very wide and almost steps the back end of that car out. Here is why Bixby Foot has been having some trouble. He smashes into the curb in turn 5, runs way off the road, and it looks like that Bixby Foot may have smashed the front end of that car to pieces. We'll have to see how long he can go before he would possibly be forced to pit as Kuzi now takes advantage of Kai Arakaki slipping up in the chicane again. Arakaki has been having a lot of trouble with that bus stop on the backstretch, and Kuzi takes advantage of that and moves up into second. You're not missing anything up front. Rip Tyler is still the leader, but I'm sure that most eyes around this track are on that 88 car right now. Kuznetsov came into the Rockford 200 last year with an outside shot to win the championship, but unfortunately he couldn't capitalize on that. Rip Tyler is having a little bit of trouble with the lapped car of Jessica Graham. She crowds him off the road on the bus stop. Graham is trying desperately to stay on the lead lap, but she's pretty well off the pace, so the only thing that fighting is going to accomplish is pissing off the leaders. Working lap 12 now, Rip Tyler and Graham both run off the road, coming into turn 5, and as Tyler now hits the curb. That was quite a bit of debris that flew off of that 16 car. I'm pretty sure that Rip Tyler just smashed up the front end of that car, as we see Graham now pulling on Tyler coming down the backstretch. Tyler struggling to keep a handle on that car in the bus stop. That car is really hurting, as we see Kuznetsov now bearing down. Rip Tyler took the points lead during this Ring of Fire tour after Taylor Brillin's sudden collapse, but situations like these are not going to help him extend that points lead, as Yevgeny Kuznetsov is now all over Tyler, trying to take the lead as we begin lap number 13 here, and Kuzi now clears the 16.
We passed Rip Tyler, and I think that we take the lead, yes? But it looked like Rip Tyler's car is ripped up. Yes, he's good fun, I think. Это хорошая шутка.
Humility is obviously not part of Yevgeny Kuznetsov's vocabulary today, as Ryan Matthews has blown up. He is out of the race after a less than stellar start. Leonid Chernov is currently running in 10th place, trying to hold off his RUS Autosport teammate Radomir Stanichev, who is starting to come up through the field. He's finally gotten a handle on that car, and that is Makoto Yamada, car 22, just ahead of the 83 there. Chernov runs wide in turn 2, opening up the door for Stanichev. Stanichev now runs wide, coming out of that first chicane, but Stanichev, he hits the curb now. I was going to say that Stanichev is going to keep it going, but obviously not at this point. Chernov takes the position back as Stanichev now loses a lot of ground. Here's Lev Azarov just ahead of this battle, and he hits the curb in turn 5 as well. Azarov was running in 8th place at the time. We're going to have to see how the damage from that curb affected him. It's quite baffling to see people still attacking that curb, despite how many cars it's wrecked this weekend. Here is Jessica Graham, car 59, as Libby Bell tries to put a lap on her, and they make contact. Graham and Bell off the road, and they slide off into that station where the marshals down there are working. However, the marshals don't seem to be fazed by it. Jessica Graham continues to make life miserable for the leaders. That 59 car is obviously not handling very well, but Graham doesn't acknowledge it, and she takes both herself and Bell off the road. Yevgeny Kuznetsov kicks off pit stops, coming to the end of lap number 18. He has built up a very comfortable lead, and he stretches that lead out even more when pit stops are over with. Kai Arakaki continues to run in 2nd place, and 3rd is Maro Adachi in car 96. Here is the battle for 2nd between Kai Arakaki and Maro Adachi. Arakaki is looking to improve his reputation after a poor first impression at the Twin Ring Motegi, where he got into an accident under caution, but here comes Maro Adachi on the attack for the position. Speaking of Twin Ring Motegi, Adachi was actually in position to win that race during the green-white checkered. He was being pushed by Taylor Brillin into the lead down the backstretch, and then Brillin thought it would be a good idea to wreck the whole field. So Adachi is looking to show what he can do when he doesn't get screwed over, and he's having a very good race at the moment. We believe that Adachi will be showing up to Rockford with that 96 team to promote the American release of the anime Troll and Loli, which is all over that very distinctive pink and blue 96 car. Despite hitting the turn 5 curb and setting himself back, Radomir Stanichev has gotten up to 6th place through pit stops, and that car is still very fast. Libby Bell in car 24 is just ahead of him. I believe that she has gone a lap down after pitting to repair that damage that she got after that collision with Jessica Graham. Radomir Stanichev, some might say, has been rather neglected at RUS Autosport in favor of Lev Azarov, but he's gotten a very fair shot in that 28 car during this Ring of Fire tour. He's run all of the races in that car as he hits the curb and takes himself and Libby Bell off the road. I'm not sure why Stanichev seems to think that hitting that curb over and over is going to pay off eventually. Maybe he feels that his pit crew is really bored, so he's going to give them some work to do, as he is going to lose a couple of positions. Closing in on halfway through this 50-lap race, and Yevgeny Kuznetsov continues to lead as he now hits the curb. That was an unnecessarily risky move by Kuznetsov. He had a comfortable lead. He had no business doing that. And now it looks like he's completely wrecked that 88 car. He's barely picking up any speed down the backstretch. That car is definitely hurting, and it's allowed Kai Arakaki to close right in. But Arakaki hasn't been able to make the move on Kuznetsov yet. Oh, there goes Kuznetsov. So much for that, as Kuzi breaks down on the track on the approach to turn number 1. Kuzi's held off Arakaki with that wrecked car for the last couple of laps, but it's finally given up on him. And the first person to unseat Leslie Riggs as the most popular driver in ARLA is out of the race, just past halfway. And I have a feeling that these grandstands are now going to be looking quite empty, as Arakaki inherits the lead, but he tries his best to throw it away, going off the track and hopping over that curb in turn 5. However, Arakaki is going to maintain the lead, as he's built up quite the gap over Mauro Adachi at this point. Makoto Yamada is coming after Ryo Akazaru for the 5th spot. You saw Akazaru got a bit out of shape in the bus stop, opening up the door for Yamada, and Yamada is now going to build up that gap. As I mentioned earlier, Yamada's been very fast on quite a few occasions this season. He has a couple of runner-up finishes and a 3rd place at the Hokkaido Speed Park. Big Mac Racing doesn't have a whole lot of money, but knowing how special it would have been for Yamada to compete in his home country, they were able to scrape together enough to make the trip. As Rick Tyler now has a problem, the car 16 is slowing on the track. I see smoke out the back of that car. Your points leader is going to go out of the race. Tyler limping that 16 car around, looking for a safe place to park as he now cuts across the track, holding up Makoto Yamada, opening up the door for Ryo Akazaru. Oh, Rip Tyler, what are you doing? I know he's probably frustrated about blowing up, but there's really no need to take it out on the rest of the field. Arakaki hits the pit lane on lap number 33. That's a bit of a conservative strategy from Arakaki, as the last round of pit stops were around lap 18, lap 19. These cars can safely go about 20 laps on a tank of gas. Mauro Adachi stays out and takes the lead. He comes in on lap number 36. I don't think he made up that much ground on Arakaki, but I'm sure the TV time was very nice. Adachi finishes up his pit stop, and the 96 car stalls. The Troll and Lowly team can't get that car refired. Adachi is stuck in the pit lane. That crew trying frantically to get that car going again. I don't quite think Adachi was poised to take the lead, but still, this is a very huge blow. Arakaki continues to lead the race. After pit stops, he now leads by a commanding 30 seconds over Mauro Adachi. Adachi was able to retain second because of how spread out the field's gotten due to the attrition rate that we've seen in this race. We are closing in on 10 laps to go. Everybody is good to go on pit stops, so all that Arakaki has to do is just keep the car straight. Mauro Adachi, car 96, again running about 30 seconds behind Arakaki, still in second place, which is a very good run for Adachi, but I'm sure he'd like to be up there competing for the win. Ryo Akazaru quietly running around in third place. We have all Japanese drivers in the top 4 right now. Makoto Yamada, car 22, is in 4th place, and you see in the background there, Arakaki coming around, almost finished with his lap. That just goes to show you how spread out this field has gotten. Here is Makoto Yamada, I just mentioned a few seconds ago, running around in 4th place, not challenging anyone for a position at the moment. So all that these leaders are really trying to do is just log laps and finish the race without any problems. However, with all the broken cars that we've seen today, that is easier said than done. It's starting to look like one of the annual endurance races at this point. Radomir Stanichev is the first non-Japanese driver in the running order. He is in 5th place. So despite hitting that curve in turn 5 twice, this is the highest that he's been running all race. Battle for 6th is on between Shoko Hirayama and Velmir Yankovic. Yankovic, one of the Dash Cup regulars who has elected to run this Ring of Fire tour, and Hirayama, the only representative of Hibiki Sport in this race. This is the best battle on the track right now, but the catch is that both of these drivers are a lap down. That's certainly not stopping them, though, as Yankovic almost chops off Hirayama coming out of turn number 2. Yankovic now pulling a gap, heading into turn 5 as he hits the curb. Yankovic effectively throws away 6th. Hirayama goes through to take the position, and Yankovic is now going to lose a lot of ground. That car looks like it's really hurting coming down the backstretch. So much for the best battle on the track, but these two are still running very well. Arakaki coming around to put Radomir Stanichev a lap down. He doesn't like the 28 holding him up. He gives Stanichev a shove and pushes him right off the road, and Arakaki goes right on by. Arakaki's still making some very risky maneuvers, despite having such a huge lead that he can just relax for the rest of the race, but apparently Arakaki needs something to do. Leonid Chernov breaks down on track just a few laps from the finish. He's going to come to a stop in the middle of the track. Arakaki takes to the grass, narrowly avoiding the 83 car. That was almost the end of Arakaki's race. Riding on board with Arakaki, he sees Chernov stopping up ahead, and fortunately he found just enough grip in the grass to avoid sliding back onto the track and into the back of the 83. Fortunately for Arakaki, he would not encounter any more problems today, coming around the final 2 corners completely unopposed during this last run. Kai Arakaki will come across the line to take his first ARLA Elite Series victory in the inaugural Russian Grand Prix. Arakaki puts on a dominant performance today, winning by 30 seconds from the pole. And he scores a perfect 116 points doing so, although he's obviously not in contention for the title. Mauro Adachi does a very good job salvaging 2nd, Akuzaru 3rd, Yamada 4th, Stanichev 5th, Shoko Hirayama 6th, Velmir Yankovic 7th. Jessica Graham is the only driver in the top 10 who has participated in every race weekend. Lev Azarov 9th, and Hideo Suzuka puts both Suzuka Corp cars in the top 10. We now head back to the United States for the Goodwin Supermart 200 here at the 7077 Speedway in Cambridge, Ohio. Alex Carson is on the pole, and he jumps out to the lead over Taylor Brillin and Kelly Splice in car 44. Moving into 2nd, Carlo DePreto gets hooked by Michael Madrigal, is put into the wall, and we've got a wreck heading up into turn 1 here on lap number 4. Lucy Barnton flipping wildly in turn 1. Will Ashmore, car number 06, has some damage as well. That was a very wild ride for Lucy Barnton, who had nowhere to go but into the side of the pie car, and she rides up on that dirt wall and is sent for several rolls. It's very easy to send yourself flying on that dirt wall. That design flaw was quite the oversight by the track builders, if I do say so myself. Alex Carson continues to lead the race. Kelly Splicin, one of the contenders for the Tornado Alley Trophy, in 2nd place. This is the last of the Tornado Alley Trophy races before the Rockford 200. Casey Campbell and Michael Madrigal, the 2 winners from Salem, running 11th and 12th on track. Casey Campbell has slowly put this 422 car into title contention, carrying the flag for Green Racing after Todd Stater was injured at Grand Detour. This is a dual championship effort between Campbell and Stater, and we believe that Todd Stater might be able to fully recover in time to get back behind the wheel of this 422 for the last couple of races. AJ Young going a lap down to Joseph Howard. Howard not playing very nice with the 15, but AJ Young obviously not making any effort to get out of the way, so I'm sure many people would agree that Howard is completely justified in trying to move him out of the way, as AJ Young now skates up high and is starting to let people go. Barton Sandy gets hooked by Ramsey Cockiner heading into turn 1, and Sandy now flipping wildly down turn 1. Everyone gets by without a problem except for Dan Lecklater, who just barely clips that 92 car. Brenda Riggs trying for second on Ashley Tucker after the restart, but she's getting held up by the 73 of Jared Pierce. Pierce not having a very good start to this race, although Riggs is held up by the 73. She still muscles past the 90. Joseph Howard, car 17, now moving into third place as Ashley Tucker starts to slip back. That is Benji Flynn, car 36, in fourth. It's been a while since we've seen Flynn in a race this year. Kelly Splicen has slipped back in this early part of the race. She's now held up by Jared Pearson. She gets hooked by Isaac Leitner, car 94. Both Splicen and Pierce into the wall, and Dan Lecklater gets involved in another wreck. Richard Scott, car 27, collected as well. That's some heavy damage to both the 10L and the 44 cars. Splicen and Lecklater both drop out of the race. After the restart, Casey Campbell and Michael Madrigal are now both in the top 10, but they get together and go into the wall on the front stretch. Campbell slides up the track, but keeps that car straight even after running up into the cushion. She loses several spots, but that's definitely some championship caliber car control from Casey Campbell. That could have been a huge accident, but Campbell's going to keep going and try to work her way up through the field. Kurt Walker tries to make it into the pit lane, but he spins that 98 car, tries to make it back into the pits, but he runs into Alex Carson and puts the race leader into the wall. That was some very careless driving by the former two-time series champion. Alex Carson more than furious over his radio, and Walker would be ordered to meet with race control after the race. Edwin Schwartzlowski in the Racers with Disabilities 707 this week blows up from 7th on lap number 49 while running under caution. Joseph Howard inherits the lead for the restart. Taylor Brillin right behind him. Brillin suffered a major collapse during the Ring of Fire Tour. She's trying to get some good finishes again as Howard pulls away from the field. Kurt Walker continues his reign of destruction, spinning Jared Pierce around right in front of traffic. Isaac Leitner and Casey Campbell into the wall. Campbell almost onto her roof. Mo Lester into the 94 car as well, sending the 619 around. We haven't seen so much recklessness from Kurt Walker in a very long time. I'm not too sure what's going on with that 98 car. After the restart, we've got a big pack of cars right here trying to negotiate with the lap traffic. Will Ashmore in that yellow car gets hooked and pushes up into Bobby Porteau, sending Nick Azure into the wall. Mo Lester comes flying in and clobbers the 46 car while it's upside down. That was a very scary wreck for Nick Azure. Fortunately, he would climb out of that car okay, but that's yet another DNF for him this year. Joseph Howard continues to lead on the restart. Kurt Walker still fighting to get one of his many laps back. I'm not sure why he's still on the track. However, with not very many cars around him right now, Walker doesn't really pose a threat to anybody at the moment. You see Ashley Tucker taking advantage of some of the lap traffic and sneaking into second. She now tries to negotiate with the 98 car. Here is Kiki Hitsuno with her background. You'd expect her to be one of the last people to show any prowess on a dirt track, but she is up to 5th right now. Michael Madrigal, that pie car, all over the back of the 4 right now. Hitsuno will be joining Laura Cyrus at Motor Assault Racing next year. You now see her coming up on the 64 of Taylor Brillin. Brillin and Hitsuno have quite a bit of history. They are not very fond of each other, especially after Brillin wrecked Hitsuno twice in 2012. Ashley Tucker and Joseph Howard now fighting for the lead. Tucker all over the back of that 17 car. They make contact out of turn 4. They both go into the wall. Howard skates up the track. Tucker takes advantage and sneaks right on by to take the lead. A very aggressive maneuver by Ashley Tucker puts the both of them into the wall, and I don't think that's going to make a lot of Joseph Howard fans very happy. As you see, Brenda Riggs now coming after Howard as Howard continues to slip back. That car is really hurting right now. Cyrus Laterza, the Tornado Alley Trophy leader, is hooked by his teammate Bobby Porteau. He goes into the wall, up into the air. Both he and DePreto go upside down. big crash up in turn 1 as the Mitchell & Sons cars get together. Bobby Porteau is leaving this team at the end of the year to go start up his own operation, but I don't think he wants to leave on terms like these. This is going to be a huge blow to Cyrus Laterza and his Tornado Alley Trophy efforts with just one race to go before Rockford, which he is not guaranteed a place for. Joseph Howard is out of the race under this yellow flag. Apparently that contact with the wall did a lot more damage to that 17 car than we first thought. Howard has been a championship contender for most of the season, and incidents like these late in the going are not going to help him any. Ashley Tucker continues to lead the race. Here is Carlo Di Preto, who's been in and out of the pits a few times. He's very slow in that 37 car. He makes a move for the pits, gets into Taylor Brillen, slides up into the wall. Much like Kurt Walker before him, Di Preto not paying any attention at all as he slides into the 01 of Brian George, the doppelgang car. Di Preto is going to make a move for the pits this lap, but he loses control of the car and slides up into the wall. The yellow flag is out. Di Preto still trying to make it into the pit lane, and he does so without wrecking anyone else. Kiki Hitsuno on this restart, right behind Taylor Brillen. I wonder what kind of drama might transpire here as Hitsuno just gets by the 64 without an issue. Hitsuno still on a charge, trying to get by Benji Flynn. Actually, I think Benji Flynn might be a lap down at this point. AJ Young still causing problems for the leaders. He's right in the middle of this huge gaggle of cars here. AJ Young, as many problems as he's had today, is still in contention for a top 20 finish. You can't argue that AJ Young, ever since he's gone to M&J, has improved his results as Carlo Di Preto spins that 37 car once again. I think he was trying to make a move for the pit lane, and he almost causes a huge crash as he tries to pull in Casey Campbell into the wall. As a result of this stack up, Carlo Di Preto is going to be summoned to race control. Campbell gets hooked by the 06 of Will Ashmore and turned into the wall. No fault of Ashmore there. That was a huge stack up that did not need to happen at all. Campbell, despite the beating that she's taken today, is still up in 11th and very competitive in that 422 car. Ashley Tucker continues to lead. We only have 10 laps to go now. Brenda Riggs, car 67, trying to hunt down the 90. Brenda Riggs has only 2 career victories in the ARLA Elite Series. Although she is widely considered to be one of the best dirt track racers in the country, she's never won an Elite Series race on dirt, but she might have her opportunity to do this as Tucker slides up the track, reacting to Carlo Di Preto coming out of the pits, and Brenda Riggs takes the lead. Hitsuno trying for second. The yellow flag is out, and Hitsuno will get Tucker at the line. Here's what the yellow flag is for. Brian George tags Taylor Brillen coming off of turn 2. Brillen shoots up the track and into Alex Carson. They both end up propped up on the wall. Brillen comes down from the wall. She gets that car going, but Carson's going to remain stuck up there, and he will lose a lap as the safety crews get him down. Brenda Riggs leads on the restart. Kiki Hitsuno second. Ashley Tucker third. We only have 4 laps to go at this point. There's Bobby Porteau, car 74. His incident with Cyrus Laterza cannot be sitting well with the Mitchell & Sons team, but Porteau still in this race, still very fast, which is more than you can say for most of the races he's done this season. That 74 car just never seems to hold together for Porteau. Carlo Di Preto still running very slow, and he spins the car once again. With just a couple of laps to go, the yellow flag is out. Traffic is coming, but Di Preto tries to move to the pit lane again, and he causes a huge accident off of turn 4. Zach Webster, Casey Campbell, Taylor Brillen involved. Carlo Di Preto and Kurt Walker have both apparently left their brains at home. That last accident did not need to happen at all. Here's what Zach Webster saw. Nowhere to go but into the side of the 37 car. Di Preto did not leave him with any options at all. I am fully expecting a very big penalty for Carlo Di Preto. He just took out a couple of very good cars and forced a green-white checkered. Brenda Riggs will come across the line, leading the field to the end of the regulation distance. The race will now be red flagged. Lap cars eliminated. and the leaders given 15 minutes to repair cosmetic damage to their cars. We will have 11 cars taking the restart, including Tanner Clayson, the only Tornado Alley Trophy contestant on this restart. Brenda Riggs leads the field. Porto trying to make a move for second. Tanner Clayson, car 79, trying to follow. Clayson taking advantage of Cyrus Laterza, his main championship rival, going out of the race, as Riggs has a car length lead over Porto, coming to the white flag. Porto looking like he's going to finish a race for once as he draws closer and closer to the 67. There's been an accident down in turn 1. A car is upside down, but that's not going to finish this race from playing out. Coming off of turn 4, Brenda Riggs is going to take the win. Her first on a dirt track here in the ARLA Elite Series presented by Smash Beer, and her third overall. Bobby Porto comes home with his best finish of the season as the car held together. Now here's what happened on that last lap. Tanner Clayson gets hooked by the 01 car of Brian George. He slides up into the wall, does several rolls. Kesey Campbell, car 422, also collected. Very unfortunate for Clayson after he had a top 5 run going, but he still comes home in 10th, the highest running of the Tornado Alley Trophy contestants in this race. Brian George comes home 3rd. I believe that's his best finish of the season. Michael Madrigal, another very good run for that pie car. Zach Webster and Will Ashmore took quite a beating all day, but they were still around to take the restart. Will Ashmore, in fact, his only previous start this season was at Pocono. Now, moving on to round number 2, where Kevin Monroe leads the field to the green flag with Zachary Zins on his outside. Nami Miura and Robert Nelson make up row number 2 as Miura goes for second, while Monroe tries to pull away on the start. Allie Riggs, car 19, all over the back of that 39. Riggs moves up to 3rd, and now she's under the 39, trying for second, as Monroe continues to get away, leading by several car lengths at the end of the first lap. Watch the 77 and the 5-0 cars. Jim Hayes takes J.W. Lester into the end of the pit wall, triggers an accident off of turn 4. Jason Bates, Laura Cyrus, and Stacy St. Martin collected as well. St. Martin just piled into that wreck for no reason. Hayes and Lester are going to go out of the race, while Jason Bates and Laura Cyrus would continue on, but they would both fall a lap down for repairs. Kevin Monroe continues to lead on the restart. Riggs and Miura right behind him. That is Lucas Sweeney in 4th, and Zachary Zins has fallen back to the 5th spot. Here are Derek Dudding and Tom Brayton enjoying a battle for the 25th spot on the track. That is the 950 of Hunter Johnson, Tom Brayton's teammate, right behind this battle. Here's Chris Winter in car number 56, the 3rd Leckliter car. He gets tagged by Leslie Riggs coming off of turn 4. He goes into the wall, slides up into that dirt wall, and goes for a couple of rolls in turn 1. Tough break for Chris Winter going out on lap number 8. He doesn't show up to very many of these races. Kendall Brillin has showed up to another race after winning the pole at Pocono. Very surprising from the 1996 Rockford 200 winner for him to come out and completely dominate qualifying at Pocono, and he's doing a pretty good job today, running up inside the top 10, although he's fallen back a bit since this restart. We believe that Brillin will be contesting the Rockford 200 this year with the Arnold Fine team. Sarah Carlisle is up to 4th place. Carlisle is currently the highest running Tornado Alley Trophy contestant in this race. However, it seems that the racing team is out to stop her from accomplishing that. Although Carlisle gets by them rather easily, she's got Allie Riggs chasing her down now, and that is Andrew Hector, that blue 04 car. Andrew Hector and Tom Brayton are both competing for the Tornado Alley Trophy as well, but nobody really takes their efforts seriously, for good reason. Trey Ashby is having a good run so far. He's up to 6th, and I believe that with Sarah Carlisle starting to fall back, he's going to be 5th at the end of this lap. Trey Ashby made his ARLA Elite Series presented by Smash Beer debut with Brinson Engineering last season, running the occasional race here and there. He was very fast, and we expected that going into his first full-time season, he would be pulling off several good finishes, including some top 5s, but that has not happened yet. Ashby has shown quite a bit of speed, but the car just hasn't held together very well as Andrew Hector blows up and comes to a stop on the outside of turn 2. Carlisle runs into him, and you see Lenore Scurry taking to the cushion to avoid the 04 car. To be fair to Hector, he did park his car outside of the preferred racing line, but still a very disappointing exit to the race for Carlisle. And on the next restart, Robert Leckleiter brings out the caution again as he blows up and comes to a stop on the track. On the next restart, Andrei Canassa turns Philip Borland around, and that is the 81 of George Bryan. Bryan tags the E-car as Borland tries to get going. Several Tornado Alley Trophy contestants having some bad luck on these last few restarts, and Philip Borland gets his revenge on the wrong person. On the next restart, he tags Olenek and sends Megan Driver for a wild ride down turn 3. Olenek ends up propped up on top of the wall. The safety crews would have to get him down from there. Shifting our focus back to Trey Ashby, who was in third on that last restart, but now Zachary Zins is coming after him, although Zins now makes contact with Joel Olenek, shoves Olenek into Ashby. Ashby rides up on top of the dirt wall, almost flips that car over, but he keeps going. The caution is out for a separate incident behind Ashby. Zachary Zins, after he was done with Olenek, slides up into the wall, slides back in front of traffic. Philip Borland gets into the side of that 99 car. I do wonder what sort of crazy story Zins is going to pull out to explain this. On the restart, you see Lenore Scurry getting into Joel Olenek now. Olenek, everyone's favorite punching bag at this point in the race, and Ashby gets up on top of the dirt wall again. However, he brings that car back down and keeps going. We remain green at the moment. Trey Ashby not having a whole lot of luck in this leg of the race, but he's going to keep going. In the meantime, you're not missing anything up front. Kevin Monroe is still the leader. That car is still holding together somehow at this point. We are just past halfway in this 100-lap race, and Monroe currently holds a commanding lead over Allie Riggs. Riggs having a very strong run in her self-owned 19 car. Tom Brayton is going to get hooked by Joel Olenek. Brayton goes sliding up into the wall. That's going to bring out another caution. Oh, Monroe just barely clips the 100 car. I don't think that's going to do anything to the 63. He would not pit to get that checked out, understandably so. And Tom Brayton now becomes the victim of Andrei Canassa. He gets shoved way out, coming out of turn 2 and into that wall. And that will be the end of the race for Tom Brayton, although he's still going to pull out a top 20. Andrei Canassa swerves back onto the track into Robert Nelson. Canassa now glued to that wall. In turn 3, she cannot get her car off of it, and she plants herself into the tire wall, protecting that opening right there. That's going to be the end of the race for Canassa. Some would say karmic retribution after her reign of destruction today. And in the thick of this, Cletus McGuffey gets turned around by Nami Miura. Trey Ashby up into the wall again. Cletus McGuffey is still in this race and on his way to a top 20 finish, which by Team Burr standards is very good. Robert Nelson gives Ryan Griffin a shove after this restart. Both of these drivers up inside the top 5 right now, and behind Robert Nelson you see Alex Witt, nicknamed the Mayor, at his home track, Columbia Speedway in South Carolina, where he has multiple track championships. He's been given another shot in this 48 car by Ike Durbin Incorporated, and he's doing a very good job right now, overtaking Robert Nelson and leaving him in the hands of Leslie Riggs. Robert Nelson himself has been very fast today and for much of the season. I believe that there are a number of teams looking to sign Nelson on for 2014. In the meantime, Allie Riggs has closed in on Kevin Monroe, and she is all over the back of that 63 car for the lead. I'm not sure if Allie Riggs needs to be racing Monroe that aggressively. He's inevitably going to blow up, but here comes Riggs trying to get a run on Monroe down the front stretch. Monroe leads the lap, but Riggs has the preferred line coming into turn number 1, and Riggs will clear Monroe to take the lead. Joel Olenek, everyone's favorite punching bag, is going to get tagged by John Hawks, sending Olenek up into the wall. Hawks around as well. Olenek is, I believe, a couple laps down at this point. John Hawks up inside the top 10 until this happened. Alex Witt, third place after this restart, although he's starting to slip back. He fell back to fourth after being overtaken by his teammate Ryan Griffin. Now Lenore Scurry and Leslie Riggs have gotten by him. but this is still a very impressive run for Mayor Witt. Witt made his ARLA debut with this team at the Stars and Stripes 776. He did very well until he fell out with a suspension problem. He still came home 12th due to the attrition rate in that race. And now you see him starting to make up some ground as Kevin Monroe starts to fall back. Apparently the handling's gone away on that 63 car. Robert Nelson spins that 9 car out. That brings out another caution. He was having a good run, and he gets clobbered by Zachary Zinn's car number 99. Both of those guys did not need this to happen, and they will both drop out of the race. Allie Riggs leads on the restart. It will be 15 laps to go next time by. Riggs trying to pull away from Ryan Griffin, who's made his way up to second. Very good run for Griffin, who is trying to redeem himself after getting his team license revoked. But Griffin is facing a challenge from Leslie Riggs, as Riggs now clears the 86 and tries to chase down her sister. And you see they're back there in 4th place, Alex Witt. Witt back on the charge and now coming after his teammate Griffin. However, the leaders are going to encounter some more lap traffic. Leslie Riggs stuck behind the 54 of Cletus McGuffey. Griffin goes right on through to take 2nd place. And now Griffin encounters Hunter Johnson, car number 950. Alex Witt and Leslie Riggs right behind him. Kevin Monroe closes in. He's back in the hunt, as is Lenore Scurry in the 102 car. It's just quietly sitting back there, waiting for something to possibly happen. Alex Witt now takes advantage of Ryan Griffin leading the door open, and Witt now moves into 2nd place, but here comes Kevin Monroe. The 63 cars come back to life with just 5 laps to go now. With all the battling that these guys are doing, they're effectively letting Allie Riggs get away. I don't think that anyone's going to be able to mount a charge at this point, especially with Cletus McGuffey now getting in the way of Monroe. Oh, Monroe hooks the 54, and Leslie Riggs helps the 54 go up and into the wall. McGuffey gets it going very quickly, but apparently the flagman decided to throw the caution for that. This is definitely not what Allie Riggs wanted to see, as she now leads at the end of the regulation distance. And for the 2nd time today, we will end a race under the green-white checkered. I believe that this is the first time that both rounds of a race day have ended under the green-white checkered. Riggs' mother was able to hold off the field in the last race. Now we're going to have to see what Allie Riggs herself can do, as she has her sister on the outside, leading the field to the green flag. Lenore Scurry dives in there and tries to take 2nd away from car 50. Scurry making a peek, but she loses momentum off of turn 2 as Ryan Griffin now comes in and takes the 2nd spot from Lenore Scurry. Griffin all over the back of the 19 at the white flag. Lenore Scurry continues to lose positions as Trey Ashby now slides into 3rd. Ryan Griffin laying on the 19's bumper entering turn 2. Griffin has a shot on the inside. And coming off of turn 4, Allie Riggs will hold off Ryan Griffin to take her first win of the year and her first win as a car owner. We all thought that Allie Riggs going off to start her own team would be career suicide, but that move has paid off today. And apparently we had a crash after the checkered flag. Lucas Sweeney hooks the back of Trey Ashby after Ashby crosses the line in 3rd. Ashby up into the air, and he rolls that 12 car a couple of times. I think that may be the end of that particular car's career, but it doesn't matter. Trey Ashby comes home in 3rd place, his first top 5 of the season, so it's still going to be all smiles down at the Brinson pit box. We have several drivers up in the top 10 that have needed some good runs, and they were finally able to break through with those results, especially Trey Ashby and John Hawks. Those two have had horrendous luck all year. Ryan Griffin's needed some good runs, and he comes home 2nd, locking up the high climber bonus as well. Alex Witt gets his first career top 10 finish, and Kevin Monroe finishes a race for once, coming home 10th. And looking at the point standings, Rick Tyler continues to lead. Casey Campbell brings that 422 car up into 2nd place, just 11 points behind Tyler. Ashley Tucker is 3rd. She originally did not look to be a championship contender at the beginning of the season, but she's really stepped up her game. Taylor Brillen would be leading the championship by 1 point if she didn't get that penalty at the Twin Ring Motegi. Andre Canassa with Jim Hayes' DNF takes over the lead in the Rookie of the Year battle. Jim Hayes does have 2 wins this season, but he has really fallen off since then. We have a tie for 15th between Lucas Sweeney and Jessica Graham, who is starting to make her way forward in the standings again. Ali Riggs is up to 19th with her victory, and the 82 team of Azarov and Stanichev is up in 20th. Tanner Clayson takes over the lead in the Tornado Alley Trophy battle. Cyrus Laterza trails by 19 points heading into the Rockford 200. Laterza's the only driver with an even remotely realistic shot at catching Tanner Clayson if they both qualify for Rockford. However, if the both of them miss the show, then Carlo De Preto through Philip Borland will still have an outside chance. That is, if they make it and win the race. No pressure there, right?